See what I mean about that thing just cutting off in the middle?
it's you gotta play a very dangerous game, don't you? Like, what if you're like in mid sneeze and it just rolls over?
Then we just do it mid sneeze. Okay, Tori, I'm gonna have to lower your volume down a little bit. It was fine.
Understandable.
It was fine earlier, and then you were peeking into. Not.
Don't worry, it happens every time.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay. But yeah, hello everyone. Hello. My name's Ruka. Welcome to. Well, I used to run a food truck here, and the food truck is still kind of there, not anymore, kind of, sort of, not really. But we are right now in Torikizoku, Tori's Kingdom.
This is a beautiful place. It's great.
It's great. It's
absolutely beautiful.
Cheap cuts of chicken that is actually pretty darn good and actually gets you filled up really quickly.
It's like 300 yen, which is like $3.
Less than
So
these
it's
days.
yeah, it's like $2.50. But
Yeah.
like it's like a quid. It's like a single pound. It's beautiful. You get 2 skewers in this economy.
And they're not that tiny either.
They fill you up surprisingly. Cause like when she went, she thought it was gonna be like, you have to order like 20 to fill you up, and that makes you no, like 5 of these is you're done. You're done for the night.
No, I think I can do like twice that much. But if we go to Hanbei, if we went to Hanbei, it probably would be like smaller servings. Have you been to
No,
Hanbei?
go big or go home. No, she's not.
Okay, if we ever are in Tokyo at the same time, we should try Hanbei next time. I went there once with friends the first time I went to Japan and haven't been able to go back. So, anyway,
Oh.
let's go back to the beginning. I think I'm getting off track here. My name's Ruka, by the way. Welcome everyone. So today we're going to be talking about Japan things, Japan travel tips, what have you. But I guess in this case, it's going to be more like Tori's experiences and what she has to share with us as far as Japan goes. Tori, please introduce yourself formally. I know most of these people are probably from your chat, but still, please.
Yeah, hey everyone. Hello. Tori is a foodie tiger who loves to eat food, and she's been to Japan a lot of times. Like her first time was in 2011,
Okay,
and she's been there like every year or two since.
nice.
So she's been quite a few times, and it has evolved a lot. Like Japan as a country has like changed a lot in the last how many years? What
12, 13 years.
13 years.
Yeah, my first time was in 2015, and even since then, it's changed quite a bit.
It's crazy. It's now so busy. Like she did not think it was gonna be as busy as she was in this trip that her and Ruka like met up. Like it's busy.
Well, what I'm surprised at is that even in 2015, you're still. I went around May-ish, so it was around close to Golden Week. Even around that time, you were still able to see like the junior high schoolers still take their culture trip into Kyoto. I don't think they do that
Oh.
anymore.
They not? They go, oh, cool, that's a little bit too much, and then just leave.
I mean, especially these days, I don't think they can do their Kyoto anime trip anymore. Well, I say anime trip, but that's usually what you see in anime, right? At least old school
What,
anime.
do they like? What? Is it because it's too busy?
It's probably too busy.
That's so sad.
I
Can
know.
you imagine?
I
Their
know.
school trip is cancelled because of tourism.
Well, they have to go to other places other than Kyoto now, is what I think they do.
Oh.
So
To be fair, like she would also rather like if she went on a school trip and just surrounded by people, she'd be like, nah, you're good. You're good.
yeah, I haven't been to Kyoto since 2017. So I don't know how busy it is these days compared to then.
It's pretty busy. Like she went in her last trip for a day. She did a day trip to Kyoto, and like if you went to places that weren't like the main the food market or like that the Inari Shrine area, it's actually quite empty.
Yeah.
But if you go in that tourism area, oh boy, it's a lot.
Yeah, you go to. I haven't been to the Gold Shrine, but I have been to Kiyomizu-dera, and that was pretty busy. Inari is also Fushimi Inari is also pretty busy.
Inari is quite busy until you walk cause Inari is like maybe like a 2-hour hike to the top.
Yes.
If you go an hour in, after that is empty. The last hour empty because everybody turns back and leaves by then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you gotta go. Gotta climb up to the top.
For people who's not familiar with Inari, there's like a main walking path through like one set of torii gates, and then there's a path going back to town, and there's a path going up the mountain. Most people will go to the left just because that's really all they wanted. Or
they just want to see the nice the nice little like row of torii gates, and they go, okay, done now.
Yeah. And then the people who actually want to explore, they go to the right, up further in the mountain. And some people, there's a rest stop near the top where you can see like most of Kyoto, which is kind of nice to just, just chill over there. Some people just stop there. But for the other people who want to keep exploring, they keep going further up, and then you see even less tourists going up to the top of the mountain.
Mm.
I've done that.
It's quite fun until you realize you have to do the same journey back, and you're like, oh no.
It's not that
And then
bad. It's not that
like,
bad.
It's like what, 2 hours ish? Like you're still like, oh come on, let's go.
I mean, it's 3 to 4 hours round trip. I did that thing twice. It's easy. It's not bad compared to some of the other things I've done before. So
She's not much of an explorer. Like Japan itself is long enough. Like you know how much walking you do in this country?
yeah.
Compared to like usual walking?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't know about you, Ruka, but every day you do like 20, 30,000 steps. Every day, easily.
Okay, that's more than I usually do in a single day in Japan.
Wait, what, how? How do you not do like 20 to 30,000 steps? Like,
the most steps I've ever done in one day was, I think 24 or 28,000 when I did my hike in Yakushima this trip. And
that was her average.
my average is like 10 to 12 on a normal day.
10 to 12. Yeah, that's still pretty. A good amount more than a normal life walking.
Yeah, I mean, but
But
I'm still saying it's not. I don't know how you get over 20,000 in a single day.
you're just walking a lot. Like, maybe it's because like wherever she was staying, it was like always like a 10-minute walk from the station, so it was always like, you know, like 2,000 steps already just to leave your place. But you literally walk everywhere. Like, it's just how do you not?
Good question. I don't know how. I don't know how. I mean,
Like, she's trying to think. Like, there must be like her app tells her in her like first week in Japan,
yeah.
she did about 180,000 steps, and she was like, "Cool, that's a lot of steps. Her legs are in pain." That's why she went to a Thai massage place at 11 p.m. in the evening.
I still haven't done that in Japan and stuff.
It's definitely search up if it's a proper Thai place. Like,
Oh, okay, okay. So make sure
Make sure
we don't get the happy end massage. Okay,
don't
gotcha.
get the happy ending, because like the place she went to was next to Dotonbori, and it was like, oh, you're not really sure what kind of place you're going into, because the place was like, okay, we close at 5 a.m., which is a little bit sus already. You're like, ooh, Thai massage,
yeah,
we have this at 5 a.m.
5 a.m. 5 a.m. is, yeah.
And she was like, okay, it's a little bit late. But then she went in, spoke Thai immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, okay, they are actually masseuses here.
No, I mean, they can still speak Thai in the places, and they still might do that if you ask them about it.
No, in Thai, they'll tell her straight up. They'll tell her, like, don't come here. They'll be like, hey, you little Asian girl, leave. This is not your land. Like, they'll at least tell her that, you know?
Okay.
But they're just extra stuff because it's right next to Dotonbori. If you don't know what Dotonbori is, it's like kind of the party district of Osaka. Like, it's the super like buzzing and like, you know, nightlife area in Osaka, and it's like, oh, you know, we're looking at it like, oh, should we?
I mean, if you go to Dotonbori, most people go there for the food anyway to begin with.
It's so expensive there.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's been expensive for a while. I've only been there one day, so I can't really say.
It's fine. Like, it's quite a lawless land for Japan standards. Because, like, everybody jaywalks, everybody just smokes outside, and it's like, where is all the rules? It's just crazy. It feels more like home, you know, in a weird way.
I think that's why I think that's why foreigners like it, because it feels more like home than most of the rest of Japan, I feel.
Yeah, it definitely does. Like, the whole jaywalking thing is pretty wild, because it's like, oh, if you're anywhere else, you jaywalk, you get that dirty ass that guy from across the street. You're like, oh, you shouldn't jaywalk. Like, It does hurt though when you're standing there and the road is completely empty, and it's a red, a red man. You can't pass, and this road's completely empty, and an old lady looking at you, thinking you're about to jaywalk, because she's like, "Whoa, no one's gonna see." This old lady's next to her, and they're like, "Don't do it." She's like, oh. She's standing there for 2 minutes until she can cross the road. It's wild.
I've
Wild.
can I make a confession really quick?
Did you? Did you jaywalk?
Not in a crosswalk section where there was actually a light. I had to jaywalk in a roundabout area where there wasn't a crossing place anywhere nearby to get to the other side.
Did you get the stand guy from someone around?
There was no one around.
Okay, fine. You know that's fine. No one will know. There's no proof.
There's no proof.
Witnesses.
No, the thing is, I actually saw a Japanese couple do that first, and then I followed them.
You use the excuse of somebody else doing it.
Yes.
To be fair, it does
Yes.
happen sometimes when you're like waiting in a jaywalk, like you're waiting in the red light, and somebody like a Japanese like businessman jaywalks. Everyone will follow. Everybody's like, "Let's go! This
Let's
guy's gonna take the L for
go."
us." So we all just cross the road.
It's
As long as
fair,
somebody
right?
else does it. As long as somebody else does it,
Yeah.
it's okay.
And
As long as us tourists don't do it first. If it's a Japanese native doing it, fine.
fine. That's the standard we go by. You can blame that guy.
You can blame that. To be fair, like, Japan has some crazy people. Like, as in, like, crazily, like, impressive people in a weird way. Like, her and her friend group called him the boss man of, like, Japan. And there's some wild personalities. Not gonna lie.
I mean, like, besides the one that we saw that one night that we met up, you know, remember that guy that was like yelling at the taxi driver on the way to karaoke?
Oh yeah, I was about to throw down.
What was that about?
She's pretty sure the guy was just like drunk as hell. But like that is again an example of boss man of Japan.
I mean, okay, to paint the picture for everyone, it's like it looks dead in the night, but it's probably closer to 9 p.m. But it's like super dark with bright lights everywhere. It was a stop sign at a road, and there was a taxi right there. I'm not sure exactly what the taxi driver did to piss this guy off, but a Japanese guy that looks pretty much like a hobo in shorts was yelling up the top of his lungs at the taxi driver for who knows what reason. I couldn't even understand what he was saying.
She's pretty sure one of like our friends in our group said, but like she's forgotten.
Yeah.
But it is wild. Some people are like they have no filter. Sometimes.
I feel like there are definitely some people in Tokyo that have no filter in certain areas, Ikebukuro being one of them.
Nah, West Ikebukuro. West Ikebukuro is like its own stage of gals. Like it's wild there.
Yeah, it like if you've seen Durarara or something like that, or hear stories about the Yakuza, I feel like Ikebukuro is a really good place to meet up with Yakuza and not really know about it.
Probably, but then again, that's probably more kabuchiko. Like,
well, I think the first time I went to Japan, when I stayed in Ikebukuro, knowing nothing about the place, I was in a business hotel in the back alley, surrounded by snack bars, and one night going back to the hotel, there was a very gaudily dressed guy, shirt open, what do you call this? And you know the classic Yakuza drip. He was huge too. It's like this guy has to be Yakuza.
You should have just befriended him. Like she would straight out, like she'd be like, this guy looks like he looks like part of the Yakuza. Like you just play the tourism card, just play the foreigner card, and just like befriend this guy as if like you didn't know he was a Yakuza. Like, what if you can get like, you get the true experience of Japan at that point, right?
Even though I didn't know anything about Japan at that time, as far as like what was on the ground, I knew not to mess with the Yakuza. at any point. So it's like, no, let's not do that.
You just turn around and leave. You're like, okay, goodbye.
Have you ever ran into any people like that?
Like not realizing that they are. Like, she doesn't really go to the areas that like they usually congregate. She probably walked past a few, but just kind of like blocked it out of her memory because she was too much of like an anime weeb to be like, ooh, yakuza.
But you play a lot of Yakuza games. Doesn't that fall into your territory?
Yeah, but she can tell the difference between fiction. She's not gonna find a Kiryu around in the open. She has seen a few people in like flashy suits, but that kind of yakuza doesn't really exist anymore. And they're kind of all like white collar esque. Like the ones that you probably see are probably more like wannabe yakuzas.
You think so?
In a weird way, like she feels like a lot of yakuza groups are now very like undercover, don't be flashy kind of gals.
I feel like there's still people that do that though.
They're probably more delinquent type. Like she sees a lot of delinquents, but like real yakuza, like old men that look like they have like a pistol behind their jacket. Probably she has not seen any of those.
I've seen more Yakuza than I thought I would ever see. Like, I don't know if this was a group of Yakuza, but one still Ikebukuro, early morning, trying to get to the train station. There were like a group of maybe 4 or 5 guys in black suits crouching down around a lamppost. I guess they were just chatting or something. And then they see me and they immediately get up.
Oh.
I'm not sure what that was about.
You're giving off bad auras, Ruka.
Bad aura with my luggage right behind me. I'm not sure how that's possible.
They're probably thinking really deeply about it, but they're probably all like, let's move out the way so this guy can like lug his suitcase.
No. I was all the way on the other side of the street. And this was like a wide street in Ikebukuro. They were all the way on the other side. Like probably 100 meters away from me. And they see me and get up.
Maybe they're like, oh, maybe he's listening in.
From 100 meters.
Yeah, good ears,
I mean, that's not the only other place. There's like weird places like out in the countryside. A guy with like obviously Yakuza tattoos on them, like accompanying an Ojo-sama or something on the train station. And then the bathhouses.
Oh, yeah, she can imagine the people you see in the bathhouses. The only like onsen she's been to has been like no tattoo ones, so she's never got to see anyone with like crazy tattoos.
Yes, so the tattoo one was this recent trip. It was a local bathhouse, one train stop away from Nippori. And I was just looking for a bathhouse that night. And one of the guys in there, maybe 2 of the guys, had like tattoos on their back. They were not filled in though. It was just like an outline.
Oh, they're baby ones. They haven't got the full collection yet. They haven't got the full job yet.
Yeah, they're like baby Yakuza, but it's like still interesting to see them in the bathhouse. And there was no sign.
Like, would you not be tempted to like try to chat them up? Just like in a friendly way, because they'll tell you're a foreigner, so they're not gonna be like, oh, you're like, a rival gang. They're gonna be like, this stupid foreigner wants to talk with us. Like, she would try it.
Have you talked to anyone in the bath?
Listen, she's surrounded by old ladies. Okay, when she went to the onsen, she was surrounded by old ladies and like little children. Okay, like it wasn't the most exciting conversation piece, and she was on her own too, so it's even more boring.
Yeah, so guys, I don't know what you have, what ideas you have of bathhouses in Japan are, but if you go to like a public center or even just like a regular onsen, it's mostly old people there.
Yeah, you think everybody's like, oh, Tori, you're so lucky you got to like go in the women's one, and she's like, no, you're very wrong.
We're talking about.
You're very wrong.
We're talking about wrinkly old lady with saggy boobs in the women's side probably. In the guys' side, it's like really old bald guys, and also saggy skin and stuff like that.
All she she's been told. Like, cause the last time she went to an onsen was with like a group of like guy friends, and she was on her own. And like, they apparently like the story she gets told from like their trip to their side of the onsen is it's pretty wild. She kind of like, oh, she got a little more FOMO now. Like, she's just kind of like, oh, but it's the same in like, cause she went to a cosplay event, and like, people in Japan seem to not really care about like getting naked around each other.
No, they really don't.
Like,
they really don't.
They really like. She was like a little bit shy when she went to the onsen. She was like, oh, you know, like she has to be completely naked. Oh, she doesn't like that. Like, it's not like anyone was looking because she was on her own. But like, in the cosplay events, like, they're just out. Everything's just out, and she's like, oh, okay. Like, she's trying to cover herself and like, you know, be very modest. These people don't care.
No, they
That's
don't.
wild. It's
It's-
like a very interesting culture, like upbringing. Because they probably were like, "Oh yeah, you know, this is completely normal for us." And she's like, she saw many things that she was like, "Oh, oh dear."
You saw more things than you cared to see, but it's like, yeah, it's normal.
It's very normal. They're so nonchalant about it, and she's like, "Oh, oh dear."
Yeah. As far as talking in the bathhouses, it's not common, but you do see like small groups of people sometimes talk to each other. I think the ones I usually see is if there's a outdoor bath. I've seen most people talk over there, and it's usually like a small group of like young guys.
If she could speak fluent Japanese, she would be hitting people up, just randomly having a conversation.
Oh, I bet.
In the onsen. Like, she feels like the only reason she does it is because she can't speak fluently. Like,
How does your Japanese? I know you probably mentioned this on the last trip. I don't remember if you actually said.
her Japanese is more listening. Her listening is like, she can get by, but her speaking is absolutely horrible. She
Oh,
can
yeah.
read katakana and hiragana. She can't read a single word of kanji. So, but, you know, when you go as a tourist in Japan, you just have to learn very basic words. You don't have to learn, like, complicated sentences. You just need to learn how to say, can you have just seat for two people, please? She would like it for takeaway. There's no need to heat it up. like, card, please. Like, you don't need to learn that complicated words. You know, like,
you really don't. You really
which
don't.
is fine. Like, they will be able to tell the moment you say a word. They'll be able to tell that you ain't speaking Japanese. So they'll try their best. But like, when you go for the first few days, you're like overwhelmed by the language. But after a while, you start picking up. Like, you know they're gonna ask, you know, are you eating in or taking away? You can kind of pick up those words. It's only when they start throwing curveballs at you, like they start going, "Oh, would you like a plate with that?" And she's like, "What the hell did you say?"
And also it's like, do you want the set? And this happened to me once. It's like I was just ordering rice from the menu and got asked a random question I just agreed to, and it's like, wait, why do I have more fruit on the table than I asked for?
They were like, "Oh yeah, it's time to just sell extra food to you."
It's like, oh wait, I got the set, and it was on the wall, not on the menu.
Oh, see it? But then you get the true experience there.
Yeah.
You know, you get the bit on that's not on the menu.
Yeah, at that point, it's like they thought I was Japanese because I could tell them that much, and it's like, wait, do I look Japanese? I keep getting mistaken as one.
No, you know, like if you're any like strain of Asian, don't just presume you're Japanese speaking. No matter what, like no matter how un-Japanese you may look, if you look any bit Asian, you're like, ah yes, Japanese. Please,
Yeah.
no, absolutely not. Please. Like, these days don't understand. They go like, what do you mean you can't speak Japanese? And she's like, please, no.
Sumimasen,
No.
僕の日本語まずいです。はい、まずい。
Yeah, you should be. No, she should just be like, nah, fam. Like, she was just like, if they start saying complicated words, she's like, nah. But she feels like with ordering, now on an app and everything like on the screen all of these
Oh,
places.
yeah. In some places
So
that
it
do
makes
that.
it so easy. Like it makes it so easy.
I liked going to the mom and pop shops though, and those places don't have those type of screens, sadly.
Nah, there was one in Osaka. She was like, okay, she's gonna search up a really good okonomiyaki place. You know, the biggest tip you want in Japan if you want to look for a good food place, look it up in Japanese.
True.
Like, do not search okonomiyaki in English. Write it in Japanese
Is
and
it this
search
one?
it, and then it comes out.
Is it this picture that you sent me? This
Yeah,
okonomiyaki?
well, yeah. So, but this okonomiyaki was actually in Harajuku.
Okay. I mean, it's
But-
still...
It's still this is okonomiyaki.
Oh, it's
It is
okonomiyaki,
very
okay.
good, but like this is one spot that she found, and it looks a bit too local. And she was like, "Nah, she could not walk with her gang of like multicultural school trip like right now. Like they'll be like, nah, you leave it. Like
Wait, what?
she had a full group of like every race
Uh-huh.
in her group, and she was like, none of us can speak Japanese. We cannot walk into this store because none of us can speak Japanese. Everything on the board was in kanji, so there was no chance we were going in there. So we had to go look for a place that was like at least a bit more modern in a way, like, which is a bit sad because they gave us some stank eye when we were walking by the area. We were like, okay, this is not our land. This is not the one. But like, even for some reason, because like Tori is Asian, right? But she doesn't look Japanese at all. But they just presume, they just go like, oh yeah, you can speak, even though some of her friends can speak fluent Japanese, and no one listens to them, which is it's a little bit sad. They're like, oh, okay, Tori can't speak it, but you just nod.
Not
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
I don't think I've heard stories of like, obviously not Asian people that can speak Japanese get ignored because they can't.
It happened to her.
They assume, right? They assume.
It happened to her. It was so awkward. She was actually in Torikuzu, which is like the store that behind us right now.
Mhm.
And like, as we went in, like her friend was like, oh, like a table for two, please. And the lady looked at her friend, then looked at her and replied to her, like to Tori in Japanese, and she was like, huh? And then like her friend who's Caucasian was like, no, like we need to use it for two. Like how long would it take? The lady looked at her, then looked back at Tori, and then responded, and she was like, can you not tell that that she's not the one speaking this language out of her mouth?
I didn't realize this actually happened. I mean, I've
She was
heard it.
shook when it happened. She knew like it was like a thing, but
Yeah.
she wasn't expecting it. Like, especially in a more like foreigner friendly restaurant.
Right.
Because this is like Torikozu is quite a known restaurant, and it was in the middle of like Dotonbori. Like it was like in a tourism spot.
Oh,
So she was
Dosenbori.
not she was really not expecting this like weird experience, and she felt so bad for her friend. She was like so sorry. She was like, oh, but it does happen, and it's just really sad. But it's very rare, like very rare nowadays.
Yeah. How long ago was this? Just for reference.
This was this trip.
Oh, at this trip.
Yeah, like it was
Oh.
she was shook.
Okay. I think I know
Yeah,
who the
it's-
friend is then.
Yeah, like there's like a few of the gals that we met up with like could speak fluent Japanese, and it's like it's weird when they like just presume the Asian ones can speak Japanese. She thought it was a meme. She thought that was a meme.
You think
there's
so?
You not seen that video where the guy's like, oh, like this Asian girl can't speak, so he's speaking, and the lady's just not listening to the guy.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's that video, and it happened in like 4K in front of her eyes, and she was like, whoa. But she would say it's a very small minority, so don't be scared when you go over. Like, don't think everyone's like that.
No.
Most gals are just happy that you're trying,
Yeah.
in her opinion. Like, if you try, they're at least happy. Because, like, when she went, surprisingly, a lot of tourists don't even try to speak Japanese. Like, they would straight up be like, "Hi, can I have a table for two?" Instead of just being like, "Oh, he thought so." Like I should like at least trying, But like they don't try, and she was like, "Oh, it's kind of sad, right?
Yeah,
If you go on a trip, you should learn something."
at least the basics, the very, very basics. I don't think I've actually seen that per se. The ones I usually run into are like Chinese tourists, and they usually come in like gigantic groups.
They're scary. The tour buses.
They're
The Akihabara
very
tour bus is very scary.
they're not only scary, but they come off as very rude. I'm not sure if they know that though.
This a little bit loud in sometimes. But like, if you want a pro tip for Japan, if you avoid any shop or building or mall that these tourist bus stop in front, that is the biggest clue of where not to go into.
Sometimes you can't help it, but if you can help it, don't.
Don't go into them, everyone. Don't do it. Because you're just gonna get like price hiked to no end.
You know what's sad though is there was this one ramen restaurant I went to. It seems like it's not really in the middle of nowhere, but it's like I was in Hokkaido, Hakodate, a little bit outside of Hakodate, and I was looking for a ramen restaurant, and it looks like a pretty local ramen restaurant, famous local.
Ooh.
And I go in, and then about 10-15 minutes later, this group of 10 Chinese tourists come in trying to find seats in this tiny little restaurant, and there's like double doors right outside that people have to go through, and they're not automatic, and they keep not closing it. And it was like a windy, cold day, and it's like, please close it.
Oh no, there's sometimes it's just like every tourist. Like there's always a bad eggs in the tourists.
Yeah, but
that's why some people just don't like tourists in general. Like it's a
get
bit
it.
sad. Like some bad eggs shouldn't, say every one of these tourists are bad.
No,
It's a bit of a shame, really.
no, but the thing is, the stereotype exists for a reason because it happens enough, right?
It's just a little bit like, in the end, be a good tourist, everyone.
Be good tourists, be
Very
mindful.
good tourist, and you have to be really mindful because Japan has a lot of rules. You're not allowed to eat while walking. You're not allowed to drink whilst walking. You have to stop and stand and eat and drink. So that's something a lot of people aren't used to, and you can't do things like vape in public. Smoke unless you go to just smoking only areas. It is kind of wild. There's a lot of rules, but you just have to respect it when you go over.
Yeah, I think
Well,
there's
it's
a
common
few exceptions to the walking, eating one, Dotonbori. Almost everyone does it.
Again, Dotonbori is a wild wasteland, okay?
Yeah.
Every Japanese custom gone out the window.
I think also in festival situations, I would say that's also another.
Oh yeah, if
another
it's
time.
like a festive, maybe, yeah, that's true.
Have you been to a festival before, Tori?
No, for some reason she hasn't. She didn't. Has she? Would you count things like Comic-Con a festival?
It's a different kind of festival than the usual.
She's been to a lot more shows. She went to a few wrestling shows. Kind of
Oh
festival.
yeah. Let me get that wrestling image.
Yeah, she
I
had
was
a few
actually
wrestling.
surprised to
She
see
went
this.
to watch. Yeah, she went to watch the G1 Climax, which is a New Japan one, which is like a Japanese. It's like Japanese WWE. It's quite famous in Japan. So you went to watch that. That was pretty fun. Yeah, you can see Kenny Omega.
Are you a
vibing
wrestling fan?
Yeah, she loves wrestling. She's a big fan of wrestling.
I haven't seen anything wrestling. I had a friend that I used to work with that is super into wrestling. All kinds
If you
of
want
wrestling.
a good video to watch wrestling, watch Kenny Omega versus the little child.
The little child.
Yeah, he gets absolutely wrecked by 11-year-old girl. It's great.
Oh, okay,
10 out
I
of
get
10
it.
wrestling.
I get
10
it.
out of 10, 10 out of 10 wrestling. She also went to watch a few other shows, a few indie ones,
Mhm.
and they're really lovely. They're so nice when you go to an indie show because they're a foreigner coming here, and they're a girl, and they go absolutely crazy. They're like, "Oh, make a cute photo. You're like, hell yeah, it's great. Would recommend.
Nice. I think.
Would
How do
recommend.
you even find them? I guess you just look up certain
Basically,
sites.
like a lot of time, like these wrestlers go do indie shows outside of outside Japan, and then you find them out through that, or like you just kind of. Well, for example, this picture here is the G1, which is the biggest. Like it's WrestleMania in Japan,
Yeah, yeah.
basically. So this one's very easy to find, but like the smaller ones, like the more indie ones, you just kind of hear from other wrestlers in a sense. You kind of hear from like, okay, there's a show going on this weekend, and it's very the culture of wrestling shows in Japan is very different from the UK. Because us Brits, we are quite wild with our chants. In Japan, they're very much like an idol culture. It's very like
Oh, really?
here you can go buy your lifestyle, your favorite wrestler. Like it's just a very polite sport. They kind of like clap when you do a good show. They kind of they cheer but with a rhythm. In the UK, it's like a free for all. It's like absolutely wild. Would recommend though. This picture is great. She really wanted to buy AJ Styles. He's the guy who's behind it.
How would you even get this through?
Exactly. So she didn't buy it, but she was like 3,000 yen for like a life-size standee of this wrestling man. Like,
Oh, I have an idea. You could probably go to the post office and send it that way.
you probably could, but at that point you might just print it in the UK, right? Like you might just print it back at home.
I suppose.
But no, wrestling shows are really good. Like she kind of does a lot of weird things in Japan. Cause like for example, like Ruka, you did a lot of sightseeing and a lot of like,
I do mostly hiking.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so you do like proper hiking and like scenery things. She kind of goes to weird places. She kind of goes to like indie idol concerts that are just boys from rickshaw men.
Is that what this
Like-
is? Is that what
Yeah,
this
there's
is?
a picture of them on like a stage with
I was
mics, like-
wondering what this one was.
Okay, so these guys came to the UK and they're called the Rickshaw Boys. And they came to the UK to a event here. She was like, "What is this?" Because they're actually rickshaw men. Like the gals that like carry the little carts and they take you around Asakusa. These guys are actually the people to do it, and they have an idol group. And she was like, "Let's go and watch them." So it's the most underground idol-y thing. It's great. Like, would recommend if you're into idols and like singing in general, go to a indie idol show because it is an experience. It's great. She loves the culture over there. But yes,
I'm wondering, have you gone to that muscle cafe?
yes, she did.
Oh, how was that? I'm kind of
Oh, it's
curious.
great. Very curated for tourists though. Like it's not. It's like they all speak English kind of thing. Like
Okay.
it's very good. And if you're a girl, you get special treatment. It was
I
great.
bet.
She got muscle sandwiched. She got like hugged, but like almost soup. It's great. Absolutely brilliant. Like in time goes, they're very good at entertaining. Like they're all realistic. They're all hostesses. They're
Hmm.
very good at talking and very good at like entertaining. She went on a cosplay night though, because she went to a Halloween thing, so they weren't in like exercise clothes. Like you can send a photo of it. Wait, let her go find a photo.
Sure.
But like, she would recommend it. But like to get like free muscle money, which is like their currency they use, you have to like do some like reps, and their reps are pretty. Like their reps are quite like tiring. Weirdly enough, like she's gonna send she's good. She had to try to find one that like doesn't have her face.
I wonder
Horribly.
the reps. I wonder if it's easy or at least somewhat doable for a regular Japanese person. Because if it's a tourist, we're not quite as active for the most part.
So the women's one was 50 reps of 27 kilos on arms. It's an arm reps. It's a like a
Oh,
pull.
27
arm rep.
kilos?
27 for women, and for men it's 43, which is like on the higher end.
I don't think I
Of,
can
like-
even lift that much.
It was hard because they don't let you do full reps. When she did it, they were like, you do half reps, which is much more painful than
A full.
doing full reps.
Yeah, yeah.
So she was like, her arms were just cackling. They were just having a time. Okay, does she have a good? Okay, she'll send
What
you
was
a nice.
that? What was
that was the video. And
Oh,
she
okay,
did
okay.
put a. She did, okay. There we go. You can see it. The sticker is her head, but
Oh,
like-
is this the one that you went to in the last trip?
yeah. So she only went once because there wasn't a thing on the trip. Her last trip before this trip was 2019, and it wasn't
Mhm.
a thing yet.
Yeah.
But like, it was a very great time. She's on a live stream as well, which is not the what she wanted in life. But like, if you're a girl, they do this to you, and it's like you're just kind of sitting there like, this is a thing. Like,
You got booby
it was
smashed.
great. You get to pick which girl you want. And she's like, she'll pick the demon lady and the bunny girl.
Nice.
But like, they're very muscular. Like, they are pretty strong. Like, she would consider herself quite strong as a normal gal. And these guys have like strong ass biceps. They're like arms and are like chunky. It's
I'm-
pretty wild.
I'm
Would
pretty sure they
recommend.
could choke me.
Would recommend. You have to pay 1,000 yen for them to squeeze an orange into your mouth. But like, you know.
I think 1,000 yen's worth it.
Yeah,
For
like,
1,000
it was,
yen? Yeah.
it was great, honestly. Like, she would recommend trying out one of these themed hostess like bars, because there's a load, you know. Like, there's this one, there's like mermaid ones, there's idol ones even.
Where would you normally find them? Shibuya, Shinjuku, elsewhere?
A lot of nighttime bars, probably near Shinjuku area. You'll find them in West Ikebukuro too, which is where the Muscle Girl Cafe was. You
Uh-huh.
find a few there. You might find an odd maid cafe one. In Akiba. Because there is one that she really wants to go to, which is a really interesting concept. Like, but she's never had the like time to go to yet. And it's called Shangri-La, and it's a cafe where they serve like Italian food, but all the girls are like slightly like chubbier, and it's really cute. And she's like, why can't we have these things here? You know?
I think just Western culture just finds it weird
Yeah,
in
it
general.
just won't work in there. Like, it won't work anywhere outside of Japan, she thinks. But Muscle Girl Cafe, recommend. Like, it's great.
You kind of have to
10
wonder
out of
why does
10.
it work in Japan? Why does it not work elsewhere?
The idol culture, it's just all about the idol culture. Like,
Idol culture.
she would think it's probably mostly the idol culture.
Mm.
Though, Muscle Girl Cafe, it's very interesting. One of her gals paid like 5,000 yen to get slapped by everyone. So it's like, you know, like, it was, apparently they did not hold back. And she was like, that's
Worth
nice to know.
worth
Like,
the money. Worth the money.
Yeah, like, like, so they all line up and like slap you basically. And like, they're not like they went ham. Like, they like, you can hear the like, you know, they can hear like a very clean slap. And then this one gal faked the slap and then went for the other side, and she was like, they're taking out their work frustrations on her friend at this point. It's great. Like, it's a nice experience. You're not supposed to see this image? Don't worry. This is her living her life, okay? This is the Muscle Girl Cafe. And they do stream it. If you ever want to see what's going on, like, they do stream their night sometimes. So if you want to see it, you can go see it. But it's great.
I guess let me know what the link for that is so I can put in the description later.
Okay, wait.
Because I feel like that's gonna be interesting.
She'll need to find it because it is pretty like
Hidden?
it is pretty wild. She would recommend.
Mm.
She would definitely recommend going to the Muscle Girl Cafe because it's an experience that you just don't think you'll ever see. You know. Let's go find it.
Yeah, I'll put it in the link after the stream is over, guys. I think everyone needs to know about this one.
It's great. Like she doesn't know. She kind of wish she went to the Macho Boy Cafe, like a Macho Bar, because there's the Macho Girl Cafe and there's the Macho Man Cafe.
Yeah.
And the Macho Man Cafe, they serve steaks, and it's like the most protein-esque thing in the world. It's great. Like.
Okay, when I asked about Muscle Cafe, I thought you went to the guy one. I didn't realize it was a girl one.
No, these are all beautiful women. Wait, what about? These are all beautiful women. They're all strong ladies. There is a male one, but it's not as good in her opinion. She feels like
oh really?
There's something about a lady that can crush you like a twig. Let's go find the link. It's
do
great.
they do the thigh squeeze on the head, or is that not a thing they do?
She's pretty sure that's a bit too much.
Okay.
They do squeeze an orange into your mouth. Like that's
Okay.
there is something. Okay, this is the link to the place. It she'll send it and you can decide whether or not you want to post it.
Yeah, I'll post it in chat and I'll also post it in the description later.
But yeah, they're great. Like
Check
they do have a Twitter as well, and it's just these ladies are very beautiful. You know.
Oh, they are. They do have very nice physiques.
Yeah, her favorite is Fuka. If you want to see it, like this girl is like 4 foot, but this girl could like grab her and swing her across the room. Like it's great. But they're all very lovely. They all because like the cafe blew up because she's pretty sure some like influencers went to it.
Yeah.
And it blew up, and now they're very good at serving foreigners. Most of the time, they serve foreigners. And they're just really good at it. But when you're a lady, you get extra. It's great.
I wonder if some of these girls do like wrestling on the side.
She does wonder about that too. Like the only one she knows, like actually like looks at is a girl called Fuka. But like she does like modeling and stuff. But like maybe there's some of them do wrestling. But then again, like wrestling in Japan has a weird culture with like, you know, doing work like this. Like they have a very idol-esque culture with some like women in wrestling. So maybe she would go watch. She'd be like, hell yeah, hello. But no, they would recommend the Muscle Girl Cafe. It's something you can pay them to do many things to you.
Minus the thigh squeeze. Sadly.
Minus the thigh squeeze, but she did get an orange squeezed into her cocktail, and they flexed it, and it was great.
Nice.
Would recommend. One of the girls was cosplaying 2B while dancing, and she was like, what? Like, at this point, we're already a little bit tipsy, right? Because then you have to buy drinks during the whole experience. And she's like, what is going on? Because she just came back from Sanrio World. So it was like 2 different worlds, right? She had just finished off, like, looking at Pun Pum Purin for the last 6-7 hours. And now she's getting muscle girl boobies into her face. So she's like, this is truly the experience that she was not expecting to have.
That is quite the change of pace from very work safe area to not so work safe.
Yeah, you know, it was exactly what she expected from her trip to Japan. You know.
Okay, I mean, speaking of trips to Japan. We didn't really talk about this, but what made you want to go there in the first place? I guess in your very first trip.
Oh, she was a straight up weeb.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's how.
Like anime is beautiful. Like.
I think that's how most weebs get to Japan first because of that, right? I feel like.
Yeah, like obviously she she grew up with Japanese food, so she was like, oh, Japanese food, but like, who is she kidding? She was like, yes, Hitalia, she must go get all the anime merchandise. Like, there was no way she could, deny it. Like, you can see it. Like, she was looking at photos to send you, and like, majority of them were like anime merchandise, and she was like, oh boy, she can't send this.
I mean,
So her first trip was with her parents, so there was like
okay.
a huge. There were things that she wanted to do and she couldn't do because she was with her parents.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't really go out exploring anime stuff for that long because you know your parents want to go and look at the temple, and she's like, oh, okay, fine.
Fine.
So like, though she still got a nice few photos of some like anime related things. Like the first like 2 or 3 photos were like she sent you was like Japan back in like 2011, and like it's pretty like empty, weirdly enough, back then.
In 2011, yeah. I like I said, my first time was 2015, so I'm not sure how if you were there around that time versus 2011. But I
She
feel like it might
probably
have
was
picked
with
up a little
family
bit.
again. Like her first trip without family was like 2017.
Okay.
So like when you go with family, you kind of like you have to hold in the weeb level quite a bit. You know?
Yes, yes. I've gone to Japan with family more times than I would like to admit, but I still haven't brought them to Akiba for obvious reasons.
Her first time in Akiba with her family was probably the last time she brought her family to Akiba.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you have to understand, her dad was like very religious, so he's very like, you know, very like reserved. And this man walking into Akiba, seeing some grown men trade some trading cards of some teenage idols, was not the impression of Akihabara that she would like her dad to remember. But that was the impression, and it was quite wild because like. Obviously now she understands the culture more.
Yes.
But back then the idol culture was like idol master, you know, like it wasn't like really like real life idol culture.
So you would say Idol Master is like tamed down idol culture for sure.
It's tamed down because there's not a real person. Like they're voice actresses, they're seiyus, but like there's something about seeing like evidently maybe 40-year-old plus men exchanging cards of these very, very young girls. And she's like, this is not Akiba. She wanted to go to the anime stores. Like, she wanted to buy her, like, One Piece merchandise. But, like, you have to walk past it. You can't, and her parents could not ignore it. Her parents were like, you know, all these maid girls. And she was like, oh, their skirts are so short, that kind of thing. And she was like,
Oh, come on. They're not that short.
no. Oh, Ruka.
Maybe
Ruka,
were they shorter back
guy.
then? Were they shorter back then? I don't know.
They are probably a little bit. Maybe it's because it's also cold when we went. Like when in 2011 she went during hot season, so probably got a little bit shorter then. But like Ruka, like as a guy, like do you get the harem as you're walking across Akiba Street?
The what?
They're like swarming of maids when you're walking.
I don't think so. No.
Have you never got the swarm? She never gets the swarm because she's a girl. So it's like they never like. It's basically all these maids who are trying to get you to come to their cafe. So they approach you to give you like little letters. But like when you're like a man, because she would sometimes walk behind her friends, and her friends would get swarmed, and she's like, why can't that be her? Right? Because she's a huge maid cafe fan, right? She's a good lover of maid cafes. But like. They ignore her. It's really sad.
I think it's because you're not like you said, right? You're not their target. If you're the target of anyone, it's probably gonna be like the guy cafes, but that's not what you're interested in.
No, she doesn't want the men. She doesn't want them. She wants the cute girls in dresses.
As far as the swarm question goes, I don't think I've ever actually been swarmed. I mean,
have you been nampad?
No, actually, no. Why would I be not? Why would I be non-pod?
Like by like female hostesses, you know, like
No. That's
does it
never
happen to guys?
that's never happened. I have seen a girl get non-pod in where was that actually?
Oh, she gets nampad so much.
That
and it's so
was that's because
oh,
Tori's so pretty. But anyway,
no,
I mean
no,
the
fam,
the, the
like
non
it's so annoying.
the nanpa I think I usually not usually because I've only been there like once. Is around where Harajuku? I think
Yeah, she can see it. She can see it happening around Harajuku.
yeah.
When she went, she got nappa. Like she would have been like, oh yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Very quiet, and then they keep going, and you have to bring out the bridge. You have to be like, nah, mate, fuck off, fam. Like, and they go, oh, you know, let's not deal with them, and they back off, and it's great. But like, they are very persistent.
Yeah, explain what Nampa is for people who don't know what that
So
is.
nampa is basically, it's the easiest way is basically hosts that try to like get you to come to like their host club. But it's like it's like badgering. They're like coming to you like, oh, hello, pretty, are you busy today? Are you like, you know, would you like to spend some time with me? That kind of thing. So it's very like aggressive marketing, but it's very like, it's kind of annoying. Like, I shouldn't really not say it. Like, maybe like it works for some people, but they follow you down the street. And like they're like constantly talking to you, trying to get you. Like she gets it; it's their job. But like when you say no, just leave it. You know.
Yeah. I honestly I didn't realize there were hosts. I thought it was like just some random guys hitting on girls. But apparently it's a little
Sometimes
bit
it's
different.
random guys, but usually they're hosts because that's how you get. You know, that's how you get clients sometimes. But like all the ones, like maybe they weren't hosts. Maybe they're just dressed like hosts, but. Majority of them are hosts and they work in a weird unit, and it's creepy. And
Yeah.
the two ways of going at it is either you have to become a roadman and like turn to piss off, or you go the incredibly polite route and just use like Kego for the whole time, and then they leave you alone after that. You know. But she thought the like she feels like Nampa for like girls is like the maid cafes. Maid cafe girls trying to get like the guys to come in, and she was like, why is it so much nicer when the guys get Nampa?
Like I said, that's never happened to me. And this past trip, the maids are not as aggressive anymore.
They're really not.
Do you know? Do you know why? Do you know why?
Aren't they like cracking down on it or something?
Yeah, so there's a law that was passed in at least Chiyoda Ward from what I've seen. It's actually a sign plastered on some railings in Akihabara that says that they're cracking down on street touts and don't it's like illegal to do that. So the maids don't actively go after you anymore, but they're still out there passing flyers, but not as aggressively.
Yeah, they're really not that aggressive, which is really sad. She's really sad, but she was like, oh, she wants a cute girl to approach her. This one time she went to a maid cafe and she approached them and they were like shook. They were like, they malfunctioned. And she was like, no, she would like to go to your cafe. And they were like, huh? Like they were literally like cat me and it goes, huh? Like they literally did that to her. And she was like, yeah. Like, and they were like, they obviously picked themselves up and was like, oh, you know, cut this way. But like, it's fun to do things that are like not the norm in her opinion, you know?
Yeah, it's a little bit weird because it's not what it used to be, and I think there's just some, I don't know, maybe there's some places are just shadier, and that's probably why
Yeah,
they're
you have to
cracking
be
down
really
on it.
careful. Like a lot of places are a little bit shady, like a little bit sus. Though she has some nice experiences. A lot of maid cafes that she went to are now like not running because COVID got them. Like the COVID got them closed down. But one that she went to, like she talked to the girl who designed and made all the dresses for all the staff. Like some of them are really, really good, and some of them are a bit sus. Like some of them are like, ooh, cool, you know.
I mean,
This is a tourist trap.
it can't be as sus as the muscle girls. So
Nah, Muscle Girl, you know what you're signing up into.
true.
You know, you're entering that place and you know what you're getting into. But
True.
sometimes when you go to a maid cafe, like her funniest story of a maid cafe was when she went to Maid Dreaming, which is basically the most common maid cafe in Japan.
Oh, is that
more or
like a
less.
franchise?
Yeah, it's a franchise.
Okay, I
baby.
wasn't sure.
There's multiple places. And we went at like 9 p.m. right? 'Cause they close at like 10 p.m. They close quite late. It's more like a maid cafe bar. So we're like 2 drinks in, and we see this man who's been drinking since 3 p.m.
Holy crap.
And it's now 9, and you have to buy a drink every hour to stay there, right? This man was gone. This man was waving cross like he was freaking dodging bullets while waving. And at one point, he just fell. He just, like, on the floor, like, gone. And she was like, what? And all the maids were like, you know, they were panicking because they're not allowed to touch. So maids in Japan aren't allowed to touch the especially these big franchises. They're not allowed to touch the customers.
Even to help them.
Nope.
Wow.
Because some of them might fake it. Some of them might fake falling over to get touched by the maids.
I see.
It's that bad.
I
So
see.
we had to tell them that one of her friends is a police. They're like Keisatsu, and then her friend just put him in like recovery position, and we continued our night like it's great. And we had to drag this drunk man out at the end of her day. It was great. She had a selfie with them.
Wow.
And then another time we went back, there was the most angriest man in the maid cafe. He was so grumpy, and she's pretty sure because we were there, he was grumpy.
Why?
Because this is a bunch of laughing foreigners in his maid cafe.
Oh, I get it now.
So he was really grumpy, wearing cat ears, and it was just the most like, this is what you go to and have a funny story about. Like,
I mean, yeah. For a moment there, I
great.
thought it was like the maid that was grumpy, but no, it was the guy.
no, it was a customer that was
Customer.
grumpy, and he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
he looked so mad at like this maid's dancing. It's a really cute dance, and like the dances they do, they encourage you to join in. And when you're already like a few cocktails in, that alcohol goes through the body fast when you're doing cardio dancing. So we're like having fun, and this man just looks like that he's just sad. He's just mad with life, like wearing sequin cat ears, and it's just like she was like, you know, like in the corner of her eye, she could see this man just being like not having it. I'm like, this kind of stuff is so much more memories than going to see like Meiji River for like the Hanami. Like, cause it's, like one of the photos you said is like
I
the
get it.
cherry blossoms. Which, can we swap it over because she really doesn't want to see herself getting sandwiched by muscle girls for the last 10 minutes.
Sorry, I was wondering. I wasn't sure when we were gonna switch topics. That's why it was still there.
She's just like, oh, he's still there. But it's very beautiful. But like, there's no stories to it. You know, you don't get the unhappiest man in the world maid cafe experience while looking at this. It's beautiful.
No, I mean, I get it. I mean, those kinds of places I tend to not go to, so you're not gonna get those stories from me. You're gonna get those stories from Tori because she likes going to those places. The places I like to go to tend to have me almost dying, basically. So.
Oh no. To be fair, you might be dying from laughter if you come and join Tori for a trip.
That's okay. That's okay.
You have to understand, like this is beautiful. Like, she had a really nice day. We walked for ages. We went to the Starbucks roastery, which is like the fancy Starbucks, and we went to like how long's the queue? There were like 8-hour queue, and she was like,
Holy crap.
absolutely not. You could not get her to wait 8 hours for a cuppa from Starbucks. Like, but this is beautiful. Would recommend. It's very busy. She would recommend starting from like the end of the river, then going down to the more busier areas.
Where's this again?
This is Meiji, so next
Meiji.
to Harajuku.
Okay.
Meiji River, and it's very beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. It's during the cherry blossom season. Would recommend, but like again, it didn't make her laugh as much as going to like, for example, One Piece Tower. She went with her friends, right? And we were the only people wearing these full-size anime shirts, and we looked like degenerates. Like, it was great.
Wait, what was everyone else wearing then?
They were wearing their favorite characters. Tori's wearing Zoro's shirt. One of her other friends is wearing a Nami one, and a Nami one, her boobies were just out. Like, it was just like a
crap.
giant shirt with just her boobies. Because, like, it's a beautiful shirt, right? Like, it's great. But, like, she went to the One Piece Tower when one of her friends wearing that shirt, her wearing Zoro's shirt, and her other friend wearing a Brook shirt. And we were the only people dressed like this One Piece experience, and we were cracking up the whole day because you have to really let yourself be accepting of the cringe
Yeah, you kind of have to.
and just enjoy your trip and don't be cringed out. Though she would recommend, like, it's no longer around the One Piece Tower, but they do
Sad.
have like things popping up everywhere.
Is this the one
The
in
Zoro picture,
Universal?
the green book. You know, it's the one in Tokyo, in Tokyo Tower.
Oh, I didn't know.
So-
I didn't know about that one. No.
It closed down like last year. She's pretty sure.
Was it because
It's pretty
COVID?
good, though. She feels like it's COVID and people like, cause it was open every day, so like the locals weren't going to it anymore. So it's probably not like profitable anymore. Cause they used to do like live shows. They had like live actors and everything. The Zoro one was not good. She was judgmental. She was like, "Oh, that one doesn't look like her, Zoro."
I mean, it just
Would
be like that.
recommend though.
It just be like that sometimes.
Would recommend, like, if you look at a photo, like, she would recommend going to theme cafes, but limit yourself to those theme cafes. Because she went to the Monster Hunter one.
Oh yeah, theme
was pretty
cafe. You went to the Square Enix cafe. Which one is
Yeah, she
this
went to
one?
Square Enix. That was the one in Akiba. Do not go to it.
What?
Do not go.
Oh, the
it
Square.
was
Oh, it's Square.
so bad. The food was the most terrible food. What a waste of her stomach and her money, because it's very expensive.
Have
Like,
you? Okay, no. Let's do this one first, and I'm gonna ask about the other question.
it's just bad. Don't do it. Don't go to it.
Well, you have is this other picture from it? The Hamburg and the decorations inside.
The Hamburg's from Denny's,
Oh, okay, never mind.
which is like, you think Denny's is bad, but Denny's in Japan, different story. Denny's in Japan hits different, and she doesn't know why, because Denny's in America looks terrible, right?
To be fair,
Denny's
I
in
haven't
Japan.
been to a Denny's in
Look at this
the US.
beautiful. Look at this beautiful. It's curry with cheese with a Hamburg on it, right?
Yes.
And it was 700 yen, which is basically $6. Is so good.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that for $6 in the US. And also, they don't serve curry in the US.
Oh, it was so good, Ruka. It was so, like, that Hamburg juicy, that curry tasty, the cheese melty. It was just all rounder thing. The decoration afterwards is the Monster Hunter Cafe. And
Okay.
it's pretty good. Like, she actually really enjoyed the Monster Hunter Cafe because, like, it was like a bar turned into a like a themed cafe,
Okay.
and the people who ran it were fans of the series themselves. So, like, you could tell that was love put into it in a sense. Like,
Oh.
she didn't know how to describe it, but
I was
like,
about
like,
to
they had-
ask. Oh, sorry. I was about to ask if you went to the Final Fantasy 14 cafe.
No, she did not go. Because, like, again, it gets to a point where, like, how many themed foods can you have without, like, wanting to perish? You know?
There's a lot of themed cafes in Japan. It doesn't have to be a maid cafe. It doesn't have to be the Muscle Girl cafe. It could,
She went to the Common Rider one, which is pretty fun.
That
Which
sounds
is the picture,
interesting.
It's the picture next to the wrestling one. That big pile of rice.
The big pile of rice. Let me grab that.
Which is the Common Rider Cafe, and that was pretty fun. Like, but as a gal who doesn't know much about Common Rider, it was like she was a bit,
Lost.
what's going on.
Yeah.
But she enjoyed it. But the food's never that good. know, the
Usually
food-
not. Usually not.
The food is never like amazing. The food's always just a bit like, oh,
It's okay.
fine.
It's okay. I mean, I went to the Final Fantasy 14 cafe in Akiba one time, and I thought it was all right. It wasn't like super good or anything, but the prices weren't super expensive either. They were actually fairly reasonable for a themed
Yeah, and the
cafe.
prices are fine, but like it's a bit of a waste of a tummy like space. Like this was like an ice cream that she got at the Square Enix one. It's the salt. It's in the Kingdom
Oh, that
Hearts series.
looks-
There's the sea salt ice cream,
That looks
and
sad.
it was just like salty ice. Like it wasn't great.
I mean, I guess let me put it up. If you, I guess if you're a fan of Kingdom Hearts, that
Yeah, like she
you
got some nice
are.
prints and stuff.
It's
Like
gonna
it
look
was.
nice. It's gonna look like something you can find in the game, but it's probably not as good as you would imagine
She
it.
found a photo of the man who collapsed in the main cafe. Do you want to see it?
I might not post that, but I want to see it.
Wait, she'll show it to you. It's just. You don't normally allowed to take a photo, but like
No, no,
it's
no.
just it's too good. It's too good not to like sneak a photo because we had to put this
Oh,
man in recovery position.
yeah. We can't show this one. It's not bad, but at the
It's
same,
not bad, but it's probably just not very appropriate to be on stream.
well, it's not appropriate. It's not. It's not that. It's more like. You can't really tell what's
You
going
can't
on.
really tell that much. But there was like loads, like a lot of places do like pop-up theme things. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
And she went to this Honey Toast Cafe. They did a Yu-Gi-Oh collab, and that was pretty nice. You know, it was pretty like it's Yu-Gi-Oh.
yeah. I mean, you'll find a lot of theme cafes, especially around Akiba. It's just kind of their thing, to be honest. I don't know
Which is
how they
fine.
get their licenses for the most part, but if they
They probably
do,
get licenses for some time. They
but
definitely do get licenses.
yeah, I mean, there's some long-running theme cafes. I think the Square Enix one has been around, not Square Enix, but
The one in Akiba has been around for ages.
yeah, Final Fantasy 14 Cafe in Akiba also has been around since at least 2015. And that one you have to like get a reservation for and stuff. They have like time slots for your reservations.
Yeah, like they're quite good. Like she thinks they're all right, but like it's a bit of a waste of a stomach. Like the best one she probably went to was the Monster Hunter Bar one, which is like all these foods here, which is like foods themed on the series, basically.
At least the Monster Hunter Bar one has like they have like I don't know tavern tier food in there, so
Yeah.
it makes a bit more sense. That's gonna be a little bit better, hopefully.
Yeah, Sanrio World's food was something. Like it was cute, but it was a bit not tasty.
Would you say it's even? Would you say it's like okay for kids? Because I'm guessing that's what it's targeted towards.
Yeah, maybe it's for like kids, but it just you know when you're paying 1,200 yen for a curry, you expect the curry to at least like look okay.
Yeah.
It just looks a little bit derpy. And she doesn't wait. Let her send Ruka.
The what?
She's gonna send a photo of the Sanrio World
Oh, okay.
food. And like it's fine, but like after so much, cause she went to the Pokemon Cafe too, and after that, there's only so much themed food you can go to
Yeah.
before you just want to perish.
I mean, I feel like you don't want to go to too many theme food cafes in one trip anyway.
Yeah, we went a bit too many. The worst one, do not go to Universal Studio Japan's Toadstool Cafe. That
Toadstool.
the Mario Cafe.
Okay.
That was absolutely garble. Like she was like offended by the food. Maybe it's because she's quite a picky food eater gal.
I mean, you do work in a maid cafe, so that makes a little bit more sense to me.
She has high expectations of food, but it's cute, you know, like it's Instagrammable food, realistically.
That's all. I mean, I guess that's what it is. The thing about Japanese food, maybe theme cafe in general, is if it looks good, it might not taste that good.
Yeah.
This also sometimes extends even to the expensive stuff like the ryokans, which is kind of sad sometimes, but
Oh yeah, sometimes ryokan is not very good, which is a bit sad.
which is a little bit sad. 'Cause, like there's some ryokans that have a buffet, and I tried one of those this time, and for the most part the buffet was all right. It probably wasn't worth the price with the ryokan. But I've also gone to another buffet in a regular hotel that was absolutely great for the price, which was like about 1,500 yen.
Oh, yeah, it's very good for like an all you can eat.
Yeah, and
Wildly
this was
good.
like a breakfast buffet, and the breakfast buffet had like udon, soba, curry, and a bunch of other stuff there, and it was
Oh,
actually high quality tier food.
that
Um,
sounds so good.
um, I'm gonna bump Tori's picture for a little bit just to show you what that looks like.
Oh yeah, of course. Sure.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is, when you go to Japan the first time, or even the second time, you're not gonna know a lot of that stuff until you've gone a few
Yeah, you have
times.
to experience it.
You
There's
have
a
to
few
experience it.
places like you eat, and you're like surprised by how good it is. Like, you see the picture of the long fries? She did not think it was gonna be as good as it is, and it's so good. Like, when Ruka puts it out, you can see, and it's crazily good.
Okay, I can't get to my picture, so I'll get to your picture. Here's the long fries. Where'd you find these fries?
This was in like a side street in Harajuku, and it looks so touristy. It's like it can't be good, right? Like it has to. It's a touristy place. It can't be that. But these were the best fries she's ever eaten in her life. She has no idea how they were so good. It was amazing. Would 100% recommend these long fries. 10 out of 10.
There's just
Highly recommend.
there's just some things that you don't know how good they are until you actually try it yourself. Let me. Oh, I think I found the picture, but there's like a bunch of different pictures. I can't fit all the food in one thing.
Yeah, she can feel like she can talk about food for ages. Like the food in Japan is like the majority of photos she has is probably food from Japan.
Yeah.
So she's trying to talk about non-food related things. She's much more of a foodie.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I also do a lot of food stuff, but my main interest whenever I travel is nature, basically. But here's one of the buffet items pictures.
Oh.
But there's like a bunch of variety, and I might have gone like 4 rounds on just for breakfast. 4 rounds for breakfast.
Beautiful. It's what you should know. That's where it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, it
That's
looks fairly simple. I mean, you have like a bunch of pickled stuff, also like some traditional Japanese food, but just the variety and actually pretty good for the price.
Where was this?
This was a hotel in Fukuoka. Not a fancy hotel whatsoever. But it's also
Doesn't
not
have to be fancy.
it's also not a business hotel. But they had a buffet in this one hotel, and it's like, okay, might as well give it a try, and pleasantly surprised. There was another hotel in a different place that I tried, much more scaled down, not quite as good, but it was also like it just gets you going for the day, pretty much.
It's the important bit, right?
Yeah. But sometimes you want to enjoy breakfast, you know? Sometimes you just want to enjoy the
Tori
food.
never wakes up for breakfast. It's terrible, but she's like, oh. She woke up so late, she's like, oh, it's a bit too late for breakfast.
Now, one of the things you're probably not going to get for breakfast that easily is ramen, but it exists in some places.
She went for tonkatsu for breakfast once, which is quite a wild dish to go for.
Was it this one, or was it a different one?
She had a gyukatsu at one point. The ramen was actually like her first Japanese ramen that she had, and it wasn't even that good. Like, you see the beef needs to be more red, right? The beef looking a bit dry up there.
This looks a little bit overcooked even for Japan standards, yes.
Yeah, she was a bit like, oh, but she's never been a ramen gal. She's much more of like a katsu gal.
You like rice.
And like katsu with rice is just. She always goes to this one place. If you ever go any Japanese like katsu shop, go to a place called Maisen.
Is this the one with the beef here?
No, it'll be this one here.
Oh, that looks good.
It's just so good. She would 100% recommend going to Maisen, especially the only branch she goes to, which she has gone to every single trip, is the one just off of Harajuku, and it's just this quiet little neighborhood, and it's just so if you feel fancy,
Feel
but it's just
fancy.
so good. It's so good. Look how beautiful like that color is, and you get unlimited rice and cabbage.
Tell people how much this costs, because in the UK or the US, if you get the same amount thing, it's gonna cost you like a fortune, basically.
The lunch menu was 1,200 yen. So like, yeah, like $11.
Yeah, it's like
£9.
ridiculously cheap.
It's so cheap. Why can't we have this? Like,
So
it's like
cheap,
20
so
quid.
good.
Unlimited cabbage, unlimited rice. Oh, we can only dream. Absolutely only dream of such beautiful meals. Like, she has even more photos. Like, she always takes photos of the katsu because like, she has never gotten as good of a katsu as she has in Japan. For some reason, like, with all these different foods, she always finds like a good version outside of Japan. But for some reason, katsudon, like katsu type things, always seem to be really good in Japan, and only in Japan. It's very sad.
I think it's the way they do their frying. They have a specific way of doing their batter and frying that I tried one time. I just can't get it down.
She can't get it down either. She just needs, like, how many times can you really fry until you just go, oh, you know what, this is not for her.
I just don't like dealing with all the oil. So
Yeah, the oil is a pain to deal with.
so it's like, yeah, I might fry once in a while if I really feel like it, but I just don't like dealing with oil. So it's like, okay, if you can fry this well, like in a restaurant, I'd rather have them do it instead of me.
Yeah, that's true. Like, if there was a katsu place like this in the UK, she'll be there like every week. But like all the katsu here is really bad. It's terrible.
Like too oily?
It's just there's no crisp.
No crisp.
It's
That's
like
the problem.
it's a single layer of crisp. It's not like flaky coming out of it. Like you see it in this photo here, but
Yeah.
there's like flakes coming out of the piece of meat. In the UK, it's like breaded. It's not really flaky.
So okay, you know how this works better than I do. How would you get these flakes? What are these flakes?
They're usually like basically breadcrumbs. They're panko.
Yeah.
But like she doesn't even know how they do it. She thinks that they basically crush the panko into the piece of meat, but then they fry it in a way where it sticks. They might double dip the batter or the flour, like double dip like into the egg, into the flour, into the egg, into the panko. But like that's just a lot of mess.
It's not easy to do at home. Like I
It's
think
not easy to do at home.
I
And like
tried a couple of times. It's not.
and like you either get a perfect crisp and the meat is undercooked, or the meat is cooked properly but you get burnt crisp on the outside. She has no idea how they do it. Like she wants to learn though. This is her favorite dish because you get the unlimited cabbage. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, and
Absolutely beautiful.
that's not the fancy. That's not the fancy katsu. The fancy katsu is this one. This other one, I guess. Actually,
the
is
beef one?
is this katsu still?
Yeah, it's gyukatsu.
Gyukatsu.
It's beef. It's beef. But it's like one, like basically off shot. She didn't take a photo of it, but it's like a hot stone, and you put the meat onto the hot stone and cook it further if you want it more, like more red. This is blue right now.
Okay.
It's very good blue. I'm not gonna lie, it's very good. And like, unlike in the U.S., like you can't eat raw meat in Japan. Like you can't eat raw meat. So like you don't have to have it fully cooked. And she had some interesting meats in her last trip. She had shark. She had
shark. Nice.
Yeah, you get shark in Sushiro.
I
For some reason.
I haven't. I didn't even know they sold shark. So
it's shark meat. It's not the shark fin. Shark meat is fine. Shark fin is the sus one. But like she had horse meat. That was an interesting experience.
I've also had horse meat this past one. Like in 2 occasions, I still couldn't tell that it was horse.
There's a gamey taste to horse.
Yeah, I couldn't taste it.
But maybe it's her brain telling her it's different, right?
Okay, so I had like a horse menchi sushi, minced sushi in Kumamoto, which was probably too immense to tell that it was horse. The other time that I had horse was in Fukuoka in a what was it? A Motsunabe restaurant. And they
Oh.
had basashi, the horse sushi, in not sushi but sashimi, horse sashimi, as one of their side items. And I tried that by itself and with a sauce. It's raw, by the way,
Oh.
raw
Yeah,
horse,
yeah.
and I still couldn't tell that it was horse. It just tastes like really lean beef to me.
She feels like it has a little bit more gamey than she thought there would be. Like, she had some interesting things. She had a quail,
Mm-hmm.
a whole ass dry jerky quail.
Yeah.
That was something. You should have photo. It kind of looks kind of interesting. That's probably the best way of saying it. It looks interesting.
Okay.
They go like,
Oh, I've seen these before.
I'm like, her and her friend had just finished this beautiful meal. Like, we just ate the most beautiful, like, street food meal. And then we saw this quail. We were like, look, we're having quail. And we kind of didn't really think about the fact that there's a whole ass skull in this. And it was like a forbidden dry boba. Like, it was like crunchy and then it was soft inside. She was like, this was not how we wanted to end our meal.
Okay.
And it's something like this is very common.
I didn't realize Japan did this. I know they don't usually present things in this way, which is why I'm a little bit more surprised.
Yeah, but it was like curiosity killed the cat. Like, you can see the beak, you can see the skull and everything, and she was like, this looks fine, it's only 400 yen, let's give it a go. And we were just disappointed. We were like, we were shook about it. We were terrified about it.
This reminds me of something you would probably find in like Taiwan or something. I haven't been to Taiwan, but I expect to find this
The flavor is
there.
quite good. The flavor she would recommend trying the flavors, but sometimes she's like, cool.
Where is this
This
from? Where did
This
you
is
find this?
Kyoto. This is the Kyoto like food market area, which is beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I would recommend going there because the food is.
I have
gorgeous.
been there, but it's also very busy.
It's very busy. She went on like a weekday. On like in the morning, it was still busy.
Still busy.
It was just wild, too busy for her. But honestly, there's so many foods that you should try in Japan. Check the ice cream. Have you ever seen the ice cream? You see that picture of the ice cream you said?
Oh yeah. I've been.
Have you tried it?
I've been to that same area because it's like right across like a bunch of small shops and a small grocery.
Yeah, it's in Nakano Broadway, and it's like a challenge when you're meant to finish this tower of ice cream. And you don't know how people do it.
So
how do people do it?
Yeah, so so there's like two weeb areas in Tokyo. There's Akiba, which everyone knows. Nakano Broadway, not a whole lot of people know about it. I don't know how, but it's like the older weeb area, and more classy. Not classy, but you know,
it's
more low key.
Secondhand items.
More secondhand.
It's a secondhand like market district, and it's a lot more like out of the way, so not a lot of people know about it. Would recommend you going there, but you get there's a stall there that serves you this giant ice cream for 600 yen.
Yeah.
And there's like how many is there? Like 9 different flavors of ice cream. And you think it looks great for a photo. This is her holding it. But like, Jesus Christ, like there's like 9 different flavors. And they're quite strong flavors, you know? They're not just like she thinks like the bottom was matcha, they went to ramune flavored, then strawberry, then caramel, then chocolate. There's hoji-chan, one of those is vanilla and strawberry. And she's like, all these flavors in one scoop before it melts, because it's gonna melt.
Let's talk about that really quick. So there's a disclaimer at the shop that says if the ice cream falls or melts, it's not on them. You have to buy another one.
Something happened, you know. They have a sign there for a reason.
They have a sign there for a reason, and it doesn't look that big here. I know there's a lot of scoops. It doesn't look that big here, but if you get their biggest one, it's like maybe almost twice as big as this one.
Yeah, you don't know how people do it.
And it's like exceptionally towering. And depending on what time of year you go in there, in summer, it's going to melt fast.
Yeah. it's pretty wild in terms of how quick it melts.
Yeah, this is like soft serve ice cream, by the way. And
It's very good though. It's
soft
pretty
serve ice
tasty.
cream like melts like sometimes really quickly, sometimes it doesn't melt that fast. This one's on the faster side.
It's definitely on the faster side. And it's very you have to have like 3 people eating it.
Yes.
Like you have to have like you can't eat it on your own without it melting, especially during summer.
And especially if you're taking a picture.
Yeah, the photo was like as you took the photos, you can see it like starting to drip, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, you look at the top over here. It's like, oh no, it's gonna fall. It's gonna fall. I don't actually. Was it fairly sturdy when you did it? I don't remember if I got one.
Sturdy. Like until you start eating it, it's quite. It does like you can't put it upside down, but
No.
you can walk around with it and it's fine. Like it's actually quite stable until you start eating it. It starts melting, then it starts like leaning a little bit on one side. Would recommend everybody go try it. It's fun to do once or twice with a friend, but like if you're not going to eat ice cream just for yourself, you know?
No. Have you tried any weird ice cream flavors?
Not in Japan, really enough. Like she had a seaweed soft serve in Thailand once, but not in Japan. She feels like the weirdest ones probably like like the charcoal hojicha, like those kind of ones. But that's like, because maybe because she's so much like she wants Hokkaido milk. Like she's there. She doesn't want to waste her stomach. Like she wants to get the good stuff.
The fancy ice cream, which is actually really, really good.
It does hit different when you have one from like a kombini. Like the kombini ones kind of hit different as well.
Yeah, the kombini ones hit different, and then you get a proper Hokkaido milk ice cream, and it's like, holy crap, that is so creamy.
She had cause she got her hair done by like a hair treated, and she asked this lady like, where can she get Hokkaido milk soft serve? And there's apparently a little station inside Ikebukuro Station that sells things from Hokkaido, and apparently they do the best Hokkaido milk soft serve there. So if you're ever in Ikebukuro again, it's in the train station.
In the train station. There's so many things you can find at a train station.
Exactly. And she was like, yeah, if you did not tell her, she would avoid that place. Because like, train station places, it can't be good. But they usually are pretty good.
I mean, honestly, most train station places is like either average or surprisingly good.
Yeah, they're quite good. Like the only bad ones, she probably not bad, but like mid ones.
Yeah.
Are probably more like the ones at major train stations. Tokyo Station. The ones that connect to Narita or like Haneda.
Yeah, well the
the ones that connect to the big.
The thing about Tokyo Station is like it's mostly a Shinkansen hub, so it's not really geared towards like smaller restaurant stuff. I feel like, though they do have them. Yeah,
they do. Like it's all right. Like but she says it's all right. It's better than most UK food. Like
well, I
it's
think
better than Tesco meal deal. But like
I think in general,
yeah, like it's not hard to beat. But like it's not hard to beat. But figuratively speaking.
Figuratively speaking. You said you went to Comic-Con one year?
Yeah, she did. She went to it twice, and it's an experience.
Yeah, I went to it once for summer, and another one during like the Toho Reitai side. I think that was the first year I went there.
Comic-Con is wild. Like
it's busy.
When you're a cosplayer there, like it depends if you're going there. It doesn't need to be busy if you're not going for the industry stuff.
True.
Like if you go for the industry stuff, it's very queuey. Like you just queue for hours.
I mean, there's a lot of people. If you're there for like the dojins and other stuff, you're gonna be there. You're there for a reason, and you have to like be ready way.
Yeah, like if you go for smaller indie, like dojin artists, no queue. But if you go for the really famous ones, it's very busy.
And they might sell out.
Very busy. Yeah, they might sell out. If you don't go at like 5 a.m. which she never really does. Because
No.
she's much more of a cosplayer than like a doujin. Because one, she can't read doujins, like you can't read the kanji in it.
But it's a collection. It's the collection
But
bit.
she likes to collect. She likes to go buy the merchandise. The keychains and stuff that you don't find in doujin stores.
Yes, yes.
So she likes to get that kind of stuff, and she likes She likes to cosplay things that are on the day, like the day of. So, like for example, when she went to a fate day, like because every day at Comic Con, at a con, usually every store is the same store for the whole weekend. But in Comic Con, every day is a different table, like different genres of anime and like doujin artists get changed every day.
Mhm.
So like the first day is mostly mostly games and BL. So like boy love like stuff.
Wow, they have a
Basi-
specific day for BL.
More like she wouldn't say BL, but BL Pacific series, like like free from the swimming anime,
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
kind of stuff. It's catered to more BL lovers for
Okay.
the first day, and games. It's a bit of a mix. The second day is things like Shonen Jump, like One Piece, all that stuff. Third day is what we call Hentai Day. Sunday is Hentai Day, like because it's all the idol anime, it's all the like gacha, like the Kankoles and the Tohos.
Blue
it's
Archive these
hentai
days.
day.
Blue
It's
Archive these
Hentai
days.
Day,
Yes.
right? And not gonna lie, the smell difference between Hentai Day and Friday, astronomical. Like, is different worlds.
It's sweaty in there. It's extremely sweaty.
It's a stank in there. But she likes to go to these tables and like look at the brows as the characters they're drawing. Cause like this one time she cosplayed a character from Yuri on Ice, and she cosplayed the Thai character. And this girl had like a full on like tearful like breakdown seeing her character she drew, and she was like, this is great. Like she would recommend if anyone wants to go Comic Con and don't really care about the doujin stuff that much, go and cosplay and go around the doujin area in cosplay because it's something.
Yeah,
It's definitely something.
I hear it's also easier to do it during the winter because summer is like a lot busier.
She's actually only been to the summer one. It's very sweaty.
Yes,
It's very musky.
I've only gone, like I said, I've gone to only on 2 occasions. The one time I actually did go in, holy crap! It's like and all the Japanese etiquette that you learned on the street, you kind of have to throw out, but there's still a little bit in there as far as like just passing through and stuff. It's it's very squeezy. It's very squeezy.
Yeah, you do get a little bit tight towards people, and it's like, ugh. But this is a story of her like cosplay changing room experience. Because in most countries you can like get changed at home and travel, but in Japan you have to get changed at the venue in their specific changing rooms. You're not allowed to go and cosplay in public transport except for Halloween.
Why is
so
that?
It's just
I never actually knew. Why is that?
public indecency kind of thing, right? Like it's to avoid. She didn't really know why. It's like a culture thing. Like it's just like a known thing that you're not allowed to travel to venues in cosplay. Basically, you have to change there. So it's why you never see this cosplayers walking around into town unless they're not Japanese, or it's like. When she went to the Ikebukuro Halloween thing, you're allowed to walk, but they mark where you're allowed to go and where you're not allowed to go. So it's a very different. Like if you're a cosplayer and you go over there, you have to make sure you follow the rules. So they have really strict rules on wearing things like safety shorts and like making sure you're not having anything out that you shouldn't have out in public. That kind of thing.
No accidental flashes.
Yeah, because some people do push the rules a little bit, especially in Comic Con, because it gets them like no joke. She went to Comic Con. There was this cosplayer doing like a wall of photographers, and she saw a photographer that just zoomed in straight on the thighs. There's no face, just leg, and she was like, "Oh, they exist in this country."
I mean, yeah.
It's my experience, you would definitely recommend it. Like, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Probably just go for the day that you're interested in.
Mm.
But like, these big cons are very overwhelming. If you're easily overwhelmed, probably don't recommend it
Yeah.
because it's not really. She wouldn't say it's not worth it, but it's also like a bit of a waste of a few days in Japan. You're only there for like a week to 2 weeks, right? You're not there
Yeah.
for ages. It's a bit of a waste, in her opinion.
Yeah, so going to Comic-Con, it's kind of like, if you go there, you have to be there for a specific reason. Otherwise, it's just look at the pictures of everyone being squeezed together, or the cosplay
Yeah.
pictures from those days. It's just, yeah, it's
Some of the cosplays are great. They're all
they're
lovely.
good. They're good.
Like, they're absolutely lovely, but it is something sometimes.
I mean, it's like my what I've been always recommended is go in winter. I mean, in the summer you have to deal with the heat, you have to deal with the sweat. In the winter, probably not so much. Not so much of those.
She's never been, so she wouldn't be able to tell to say. She does want to go to a winter one day. It seems like less sweaty and less stinky.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
Just a little bit less stanky.
I know we went through a lot. What would you say is your excuse me, my voice is like been up and down this entire stream. What would you say is like your most favorite place to go to? Or at least like, like your most favorite place you've been to. One of the two.
I think actually. I think like her trips to Japan are very unconventional in terms of she doesn't really go to these like fancy places that like like the pretty like very nature places that like you go to. She kind of goes to like quite shopping-esque places. Weirdly enough, I was trying to think what her favorite one is. Honestly, it's probably maybe like Yokohama. Yokohama is very pretty. She has
Yokohama.
Like,
Nice.
yeah, Yokohama is very, very beautiful during like the right season. So this is like a. If you want a nice day out by like the sea, it's super pretty. Oh my god, nice on a good day as well. Like there's Ferris wheels and theme parks there, and it's quieter than Tokyo. Cause like now, if you ask her if she wanted to go to her favorite place in Tokyo now, absolutely not. It's busy as all hell. Like it's so busy.
You mean
and so
Akiba?
full of people. No, she's never liked Akiba. She's much more of an Ikebukuro gal.
Okay.
Akiba is like even when she went for the first time, it was like everything was more expensive
Yeah.
than going to Nakano, going to Ikebukuro, going to anywhere basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like.
She's trying to think what her favorite place that she went. Like honestly, her favorite area is Ikebukuro because everything she wants to do there is there.
Okay.
There's maid cafes, there's nice food. All the merchandise is more towards female interests as well.
Yeah.
It's the only place that has Yakuza merchandise, which is very important.
Really, it's the only place?
The only place that has the secondhand Ryago Kotoko stuff. Yeah, it's very sad. But she really liked Osaka. Osaka was actually very nice. Like the area she stayed in was actually very solid. She was staying in Shinsekai Market, like Shinsekai, which is like the retro area. And it was pretty nice. Like she likes quieter places, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, in general, for me personally, it's like I am not a fan of Tokyo whatsoever. I try to get out of there as soon as I can.
Yeah, she kind of regret not staying in Kansai for a bit longer. Like she was only in Kansai for like 5 days, and the rest of the trip she was in Tokyo. She kind of wished it was the other way round. But now she knows it's just too busy in Tokyo now.
But Tokyo's too busy, too hot. Oddly enough, it's like hotter in Tokyo than it was in Kyushu when I went this time. It's also the concrete.
Oh.
The concrete like bounces and traps the heat, so it's like multiple hot levels right there, and also the humidity. Like, but if you asked me like what was hotter, Tokyo or all the way down in, let's say, Fukuoka. Fukuoka is a lot cooler than Tokyo is, despite being further down south.
Oh, which is surprising.
Yeah, but Tokyo is just like there's so much stuff going on there also. It's like too busy for me, a little bit too hectic. There are places in Tokyo I like to explore and check out, but I would rather not be there if I can help it.
She would recommend if you want to like a for example Harajuku, do not go down that street. Do not go down the Takeshidori street.
Even in 2015, that was a bad place to be.
Even in 2011, it was absolutely chaotic already. Back then, now you can't walk through it. Like, you just could not go through that area. But she does recommend going off the Takeshidori street. There's a lot of back alleys.
Yes.
And in those alleys, if you want to buy like very indie clothing, very Japanese fashion, but made by like small independent companies like galleries and stuff, they're all there. They're all in Harajuku, but just not on Takeshidori Street. Avoid that place.
I don't even know what's on Takeshidori, to be honest.
A giant Daiso.
That's really it. That's really it. That's the reason I went there the first time. A friend of mine was helping me find some souvenirs, and for some reason we went to Takeshidori and went to the Daiso there, and that's where I got some souvenirs. I also got some souvenirs from Donkey, from Donkey, which is like
busy.
It is busy.
Oh, Donkey's great.
Donkey's great. Any donkey is good.
Donkey is her favorite place in Japan.
Donkey also will differ depending on the area. Like if you go to the Donkey in Akiba, it's slightly different from, let's say, the Donkey in Shibuya or...
She went to the Donkey, the Mega Donkey in Osaka, and it was just she had a time. She was enjoying the sensory overload.
It is great. Also, speaking of sensory overload is everywhere you go to these department stores. Big camera, sensory overload. Yodobashi, sensory overload. Donkey, yes. I think one of the few quiet places as far as shopping goes is maybe some malls.
Isetan. Like those like the fancy ones. If the ones that like only old Japanese people go to.
Yeah.
Those are the quiet ones.
Also convenience stores.
Convenience at 2 a.m. is great.
I haven't been there.
Recommend.
I haven't been there at like 2 a.m. But convenience stores
are
also nice.
Ice cream at 2 a.m.
Nice quiet places.
Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Convenience at 2 a.m. is beautiful.
Also,
basically,
no shame.
if you avoid tourism areas, it's very nice and quiet, and you get a nice experience.
Even in Tokyo. Even in Tokyo.
Yeah, even in Tokyo. Except where she was staying, she was surrounded by love hotels, and that was something.
Question: have you ever been in a love hotel before?
Why would she go to one?
For curiosity! Why
She's
not?
Not spending 7,000 yen to go look, and they look at her with pitiful eyes coming in on your own to a
You can go
hotel?
there for a couple of hours with a friend. It doesn't matter.
She does not. She absolutely not. He's not going to a love hotel with a friend. Like, they're gonna be like, they're doing the dirty, and like, absolutely not. Though she did see a post about some cosplayers who went to these themed love hotels to do cosplay shoots there, and she was like, "That's a great idea," but also, if her friend saw her walking into a love hotel, she would never live that down. Like, that would be brought up on like a wedding day. Like that'll be like the best gal speech, and they're gonna be like, "Remember that time Tori walked into the love hotel?" Like,
honestly, I would go in there just for the heck of it, but you need someone else to go with you, and they don't let two guys in.
They don't let two guys in, and don't let two girls in.
They let two girls in.
Do they?
They do.
How do you know, Ruka? How do you know?
There's YouTube videos on this. That's why I know.
She feels like because like the outside of them look it. Like some of these, like she got a photo of it. There's a few of these that look like final battle scenes. You know, like so she
There's some weird YouTube videos on like really unique love hotels. Like one is like themed after Jurassic Park or something.
Some of them are like crazy themed. You know, some of them are literally like, oh, here's the theme of here's a train theme, and she's like, what?
Why? the question, I think the big question is why.
You know, and there's, you know, if you have an interest, you have an interest. But she was like, what a Pacific place. Like it's made just for one purpose.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I know what goes on there.
Is that what Ruka? Is that what your next goal is? To go when you go to Japan, you're just gonna go for curiosity, just going, ooh, what's in this love hotel?
Yeah, I mean, I need someone with me to do it. I can't just go in by myself. They don't.
Can you not? Can you not just be like, you know, your friends coming soon or something?
No, you have to go in together.
Oh.
Yeah.
She did not know that.
Yeah.
But she was surrounding them. Like some of them were dodgy. Like what she did during her trip was she was looking at ones that were like, which one looks the most dodgiest? And which one would look the most like the one that she was like, okay, this one looked like it looks fun, right? Because she's gonna send you 2 photos.
Okay.
And the first one was like, wow, this one looks like it's a party on the inside, and the other one looks like a place you'd get murdered in. Like.
Okay, let me get these so people can see.
This was the woke hope, and like some girls, she will like 10 a.m. going into one of these 10 a.m. Like,
hey, if you need to go, you need to go.
It's 10 a.m.
Some people have needs. That's all I'm saying.
10 a.m. in the morning, and they're just like giggling, and she's like walking, trying to get her like energy jelly for the day, and she's just surrounded by cringy couples.
Okay, so there's the first one. There's the fancy one.
This
right?
one looked cool because it had a freaking statue of an Oni outside.
Don't you want to check that out?
Absolutely not, because it's 7,000 yen for 4 hours.
Wait, can you do less? Can you do less?
No, the least one she found was 15 minutes for 1,500. 15 minutes.
That is like a quickie. What? You can't even do it in 15 minutes.
Exactly. She was like, that's like a you're taking a lunch break out. Like,
what the heck?
But like some of them, like because she has to walk this route every day from where she was staying in this nice Airbnb, very quiet Airbnb, surrounded by love hotels. She got to see all these different interesting hotels, and she looked at the prices, and some of them are just like wild.
I mean, 4,000 I think is the average, right?
What do you mean, right? She doesn't know, Ruka.
You went
of love hotels.
You went around. You were surrounded by love hotels. Yeah, I thought you would know.
Remember the prices. She knows it range from like 1,500 to like 7,000.
Okay,
like,
you said this one looks dodgy. It doesn't look too dodgy though.
Listen, it has the word Hotel Montana, and only Mon is surviving. Like,
it's a vintage love hotel.
It looked very dingy. And she was like, this is not the one. Like this one compared to the Oni one, she was like, nah, this is not the one.
Yeah, this one doesn't look very interesting, but if I could split the cost with someone and go to the Oni one just for you know, just for kicks and giggles. Yeah, you know what? Why not? Why not?
For shits and giggles, just you know, just YOLO, we're going to the love hotel just to check it out.
Yeah, why not?
She feels like there are better things to do with your money. You know, you could go and have like an all-you-can-eat J barbecue experience for that same cost.
True.
Is that what you're gonna do next time? You're gonna find a gal in Japan?
I don't think I can find a random person that's willing to go in there.
Like, she feels like you won't be able to find one gal to convince that you're going in there just to look. Like
they don't know me well enough to think that.
Exactly. There's believe you that you're going to one of these just for the shits and giggles.
Well, I mean, I'll also research, right? Research.
Just Google it.
I know you can. I know you
Surely
can,
it's
but
just a bed.
there's a difference of actually just going in there and seeing how it's laid out, and getting someone else's picture.
Surely it's just a bed.
Some of them is just a bed. Some of them is just a bed, and some of them just has like the little, what do you call this?
She now understands Ruka's hyperfixation now. Like, Ruka's now next Japanese goal is to just go look like Love Hotel tourism.
Okay, don't. People are gonna get the wrong idea if you say that. I do a lot of things for research purposes.
For content.
Not for
content.
Not necessarily for content. It's just I am curious. I want to see what's in there.
Just probably a bed and lots of gadgets. Like, she's pretty sure they're not like as exciting as you make it out to be.
Probably not, but I'm still curious. It's kind of like me going out in the middle of nowhere, just to see it for myself.
Yeah, but middle of nowhere is free, and not 7,000 yen.
I still have to travel to middle.
She now remembers what's her favorite place in Japan is Costco.
Of all the places you had to pick, it had to be the Costco?
It's so good.
Have
Costco, there's so much stuff in Costco.
How is it different from the Costco in the UK and the Costco in the US?
Okay, she'll send you multiple photos of why it's different.
I know.
And why it's a million times superior.
Okay, I've seen videos of Costco in Japan, but I still don't see how that's that much different.
You can get a kilo of sashimi grade scallop for 10 pounds.
You cannot put that in your luggage.
She can put it in her dummy.
How are you gonna finish 10 pounds of scallops before you leave?
Easily, absolutely easily. You're not gonna tell her that you're not gonna be able to finish a kilo of scallops.
Oh yeah,
for
a kilo. Yeah, a kilo's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so much stuff. There's like Wagyu for like discounted prices. It is beautiful.
Oh my gosh, the Wagyu! I wish I could like take that back with me.
Exactly. Imagine you can buy a whole ass like tray of it. Like, you can see all the photos of Costco is the best place. Here we go. There's one Costco that's an easy train ride away. It's about 40 minutes from Ikebukuro. It goes through a mall, which is a really nice mall, really quiet mall, very local, all just Japanese people. But this Costco has freaking Wagyu beef just vibing, and it's beautiful.
I'm gonna take a screenshot of all these pictures because it's too much in one thing.
No, it's all good. Like, if any photo you show the sushi and show the Wagyu.
Okay.
Like,
let me get the sushi and the Wagyu.
It's so good.
No, I mean the thing is, I wanted to like show everything. That's the reason why I said that. But
honestly, she wished she could vlog her journey around Costco because there was so much.
You can try.
Things. Like there was like royal milk tea bakes, like little sugar like packets for like so cheap for so many, and she's still drinking them now because she just brought it all back. Cause they're like little satchels, and she just brought them all back. There's miso soup, and there's like all the like Japanese treats you can get. So this is the sushi they have, and it's about, she thinks it's like 2,000 yen.
It's a little. Let me see if I can zoom in on it.
She's trying to zoom in herself. Just see.
I think I can get to the price.
Yeah, 3,580 yen. So it's on the like a little bit spendier side.
Yeah.
But look how much sushi you get. That's like what, like $30? Like,
that's pretty good.
Yes, it's
That's
very
pretty good.
The quality is beautiful. The Wagyu is also absolutely gorgeous.
Let me get the Wagyu. Where's the Wagyu?
Oh, the Wagyu. The Wagyu
where's the
looks so
Wagyu?
good. Why can't we have this in the UK? This is why. This is the thing, right? This is why Costco in Japan is just so. It's so satisfying. Because like Costco in America and the UK are very similar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's because it's dropped in a different spot. That's why. So
like,
yeah,
so good.
I mean, the Costco in the US does have Wagyu, but it's gonna be more expensive than this for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You can't see the price because I can't really zoom in too well. I'm gonna try to zoom
Okay,
in
she
on
can
it.
tell you how much the prices are. Like the one closest to Ruka's head, 7,000 yen. So that's like $60, maybe. Yeah, like 50 quid for like the most juiciest looking bloody. It's like what is it?
So this is 700.
A4.
So this is A4, not the top tier Wagyu, but still pretty darn good. 779 grams, which is, I think, a little bit less than 2 pounds, or roughly about 2 pounds. And it's 7,000 yen, which is unheard of.
It's so good. Like the yakiniku one right in the middle is 3,200 for like 3,300 yen, which is like 20 quid maybe.
Yeah, so
And like
3,200 yen for almost 500 grams, which is
of
crazy.
yakiniku A4 wagyu.
Which is
This is
crazy.
why Costco is beautiful. If she had a house, Costco every day. Every day.
So this is all A4, which is just a step down from A5, but you know what? That's not bad at all.
She's pretty sure she saw A1 at one point, but it's like
A1 is just
very-
like regular beef at that
Yeah.
point.
but
Right.
like it's still better than normal beef.
It is. I think this, for me personally, this is like way too fatty. That's a lot.
Yeah, she does like it. She does like leaner cuts, but like there's
Once in a
something
while.
about cutting a steak with a spoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like really good once in a while, but the best thing about this is it doesn't make you broke. Like you would have to buy this, like, you know, at a steak restaurant or even overseas. Overseas here, I think it's like A5 Wagyu's about $100 per pound. It's
so expensive.
expensive, but you look at this. It's not A5, it's A4. Maybe A5 would be like twice as much, but I don't think it costs. I don't think it tastes twice as much. A4, which is pretty darn good already, very affordable.
She wants to eat it. It's now like 11 p.m. and she's like, "Oh, steak."
Steak. Wait, we can make some yakiniku with this. We can make some shabu shabu with this. Heck, we don't even have to.
No,
do that.
shabu shabuing.
Or you
Wagyu
know.
is a waste.
Okay, how about sukiyaki?
Hot pot wagyu. No, anything like you're melting
come
the
on.
fat away. What is the point? You might as well just slow cook some beef brisket. Like, what a waste of wagyu. Like, people who hot pot wagyu, waste. People who burger wagyu, waste. If you wanted a wagyu burger, you get like that cheap cut of beef,
Yeah.
and then you add beef fat into it. The whole point of wagyu is that it's in one solid state. The fat is still inside the meat. You're not rendering it at somewhere else.
I don't know. I feel like we might have a different opinion on this one.
Absolutely not. Like, you might as well just get the cheapest cut for everything. Like, hot pot, she might accept it if it was a thicker piece, but like, wagyu burgers is the most waste of money of a wagyu she's ever heard of.
I've tried a wagyu burger once on my first trip, and I was totally ignorant about the whole topic at the time, so I have no idea. And it felt like biting into nothing. I wasn't quite sure what I ate, to be honest.
Exactly. What a waste. Why not just have that in a steak form? Steak form is just so much. It just hits different.
I don't know. I kind of prefer. I'm not a steak fan in general, but for wagyu, at least A4, A5. If you put it in a steak form, I want a bed of rice under there to absorb everything.
It's just beautiful yakiniku. What's
wants.
wrong with? It's beautiful. Yakiniku is just a beautiful form. You know, it's just steak. Steak is very like. Maybe it's because it's very expensive. Just never had it.
I don't think I've actually had steak in a restaurant before. I've cooked it on stream, but that's about it.
She wants to try to cook like an A5 wagyu, but to get one here, impossible.
At least cooking is not difficult. It's not difficult to cook it at all. It's just, I kind of took.
If you mess it up, that's like 80 quid down the drain.
Well, I kind of cheat a little bit. I use the sous vide to make sure I don't
Ruka's
overcook
bougie.
it.
You got a sous vide machine?
It's no, I mean it's just like the stick, but it's not that too expensive.
Got a sous vide machine?
It-
She just touches it and goes, that looks fine.
I want to make sure I don't overcook it. Basically, I just sous vide it and then just sear it and done.
Oh, now she's hungry.
I'm sorry, it's like really late for you right now.
It's like 11 p.m. And
11
she's like,
p.m..
oh, it's now hungry period. Now
Yeah.
she's looking at the steak like, oh, cool.
You're gonna fall asleep hungry? Is that what I did to you?
Yes. Then again, she always goes to bed a bit hungry. She's like, oh, you know what? Nah, she's gonna go to bed. She can't eat. She usually brushes her teeth like at like 9 p.m. So she doesn't like
Eat?
eat again.
Yeah.
Gaslight herself to not eat again.
Well, okay. I guess we should let you go sleep. But what is one big tip you have that you want to tell people of? Just I guess yeah, just any tip that you can think of.
She thinks if you want to go to Japan, you should know basic phrases. Or at least attempt to learn basic phrases. Because people in Japan do not expect you to speak fluent Japanese. But they will respect you so much more if you're trying to speak the language.
Yes.
Right? You will get a completely different customer service if you at least try to speak the language.
And this is
Like-
already in a place where customer service is already pretty good, but even better than that.
Yeah, like people will like it when you try to learn their language. You know, you like, for example, if you know you're coming, let's say you're serving a customer as a worker, and they start speaking Spanish at you, you're gonna be like, what? But if they're at least trying to speak English to you, you go, okay, they're trying. It's the same in Japan. So her biggest tip, learn very basic Japanese, Don't say sayonara to people. Like, learn just the basic phrases, like learn how to say the numbers, number system. Futatsu, hitotsu, that stuff. Learn just basic phrases, and your life in Japan would be much more fulfilling after that, in her opinion.
Yeah. Though,
That'll be helpful.
the just one aside on the number thing is, holy crap, the number of counters they have for.
Yeah,
That-
she kind of gets confused, but they will know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right? If you say the wrong one, they will at least understand you're trying to say that word.
Yeah.
It'll be like, let's say you're asking, how many straws you want, but you just be asking, yes, third straw, please. Like that's the equivalent, but you can understand what
Yeah.
they're saying,
Yeah.
right?
The
So-
very basics that learn the su or the ko counters.
Yeah.
Those are like the most universal ones. Anything else is probably too specific, to
But
be
just-
honest.
Like, just understand that the culture in Japan is very different
Yes.
from the culture in your country. And some rules might sound stupid, like no jaywalking, but you're in their country, so you gotta follow their rules.
Gotta follow the rules, even at
Mm.
3 a.m. in the morning.
Even when there's no cars around, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, you have to follow the red lights. Even if you don't want to,
Even if you don't want to.
somebody will be there.
The only time you're allowed to break that is if someone else does it.
Or you're in Dotonbori.
Or in Dotonbori, one of the two.
One of the two. That's the only time you're allowed to.
Okay. All right, Tori. I think we need to put you to bed right now. It's probably pretty late for you.
Yeah, she gotta wake up early tomorrow, so she'll go have a big nap.
Is there anything you want to announce before we go?
Definitely go to Japan, but maybe if you really, really weak right now, and it's great. But they're planning to bring the yen back to like a normal amount. So
Oof.
if you're ever thinking of going to Japan, exchange your yen now, because you're not gonna see £1 to 185 yen like exchange rate. So if you want to do that, that's her announcement. Go change your yens.
Go change your yens. But if it goes
What is it? Yen?
so right now the yen for the
British
US is
pound.
about 140 to $1. I'm not sure how it is in British pounds.
It's even worse now. It's £1 to 188 yen.
What was it before? What was it before in the
She
internship?
exchanged it. When she exchanged it, it was 179.
Okay, so it went up.
So it went. The yen is even worse now.
Right, so it
Poor
went
gals.
it went up for us compared to before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want your skebs, get your skebs now. And if you want
the
some yen,
scabs.
you get your yen now before it starts going worse, basically.
Yeah, buy your online Japanese goods now. Buy the all the Nendos and all the figures that you want online.
It's terrible right now. She might buy some yen. Damn. She's like looking at it like, whoa, she didn't know when she's next going, but like, we're never gonna see this again.
Just stock up all the yens.
It's literally the worst it's ever been in the last 5 years.
Wow.
It's not been this bad since 2015.
2015? Really? I thought
Was the last time it was this bad?
I thought 2015 was already 110 or
No,
$1.
it was the worst you can see on a quick Google search is 191 yen per pound.
Huh.
So that was the word, but we're like going towards that. So
Okay, well, good time to go on a trip. Good time to go on a trip. All right.
Tickets are expensive.
Yeah. All right, everyone. We're gonna say goodbye here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to us. Sorry we couldn't get to all the messages, but yeah, thank you for all the comments. We tried at least addressing some of them. I will be putting the Muscle Girl link in the description
Definitely
after
go.
this.
Say hello to Fuka for her.
Fuka. Recommend Fuka.
Recommend Fuka. She's very cute, very small.
Very
Could
small.
crush you.
All right. See you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank